Hello and welcome to this online this online brochure, if you like, or video brochure. Yeah, it's a video brochure for our Online Astronomy Society Academy GCSE Astronomy program. Bit of a mouthful there. So I thought that yes, we have a paper copy of the brochure, but I thought it might be nice to put it into a video, just to demonstrate to our learners that we are conscious that people learn and prefer different sort of formats of material for learning from. So without further ado, oh, and I'm Alistair Leith. I won't go through my letters, but I'm director of this academy and the main one who organises it and sort of handles the online content and then the material. So welcome. Um, so about us, we have been running GCSE Astronomy by distance learning since 2009-ish. And since then, we've gone from strength to strength. I mean, I think we have. We've been going for a good number of years. We've made a number of challenges courtesy of COVID-19, but we've kept going and we've managed to continue providing the top-notch service that we have. And as such, a lot of us spreads by word of mouth now, although we do market quite a lot on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/astronomy courses. We also work closely with home educators, mainstream and schools, not to mention the more mature learner. And I'll also mention there as well that we do work with special educational needs. So people have got autism, other problems, dyslexia. We also try to cater for them. And that's why our content is a combination of formats, from the interactives to the quizzes and the pre-recorded content. And please note that while the digital interactives might not be ideal for you, they do suit other learning methods and other learning ways better as well. So that's where we put the whole lot in. So if you don't learn one way, you learn the other way. And that's why they contain largely the same information. The examining board, this question comes up quite often, so I'm going to nail it here. It is Pearson Sodexo who is the examining board for GCSE Astronomy, and they are the only examining board. We also get asked about whether we're accredited to teach GCSE Astronomy. The answer is no. But what we do is we provide the training, we provide the education, and we provide the observational task sign-off and support as well, going back a bit. And after that, our learners then go off to exam centres that are accredited, where they then sit their exams. A few things I will say briefly in the next slide because that goes into more detail, but just know at the end of the day that Pearson Sodexo is the only examining board that offers GCSE Astronomy, and that the exams are set at exam centres. More about that here. How is it assessed? Okie dokie. There are two papers. There is the unaided paper 1, which is for an hour and 45 minutes, and there's for the aided paper 2, which is for the same period. Note that unaided means not using a telescope. It's what paper 1 and year 1's all about. And then paper 2 is using aided, some aid for the work, aka a pair of binoculars or a telescope, and so on. Both of those papers are an hour and 45 minutes, and both of them are 50% apiece. They count towards 50% of your final grade. Notice there are two observational tasks there. I'm going to deal with these quite quickly. We do offer in-depth exclusive information on those, but no, there are two of them, one for the unaided, one for the aided. They are not assessed by the examiner. They don't have to be sent away for them to look at and grade, because they're not part of your final grade. However, they do have to be completed, and they do have to be signed off by your tutor. We say do two observational tasks, one for either paper, but we do recommend doing two apiece in case weather causes problems. So we're coming up to the summer now at the time of recording this, so it's recommended you might do something around the sun, something around the moon, and then something around the stars when it starts getting darker. And that way you've got two different tasks for both papers that you can rely upon. Why do we do them? Because you're going to get examined on them more than likely. So if you don't do them properly and questions come up on them, you may not be able to answer the questions, but it's also an observational thing. Also about these papers, they have to be sat at exam centres, like I said. One of ours you can use, or if you find one of your own, make sure they're happy to use our sign-off method, which most of them generally are. The other thing I'll mention here too, because it comes up a couple of times, both papers have to be sat in the same year, and they're nearly always examined in June. So, for example, we're June the 13th today, so the last paper was sort of assessed yesterday, I think. Or was, no, tell a lie, June the 12th. This is June the 13th. So yesterday was when paper 2 was sat. Good luck to everybody who sat those. So that is where we are for that and how it is assessed. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, there are exam and centre fees that they will charge you. The centre for the exam fees are generally about the same. I think it's about £45 last time I checked. That's Pearson's own charge. But exam centres will also have their own fees because they've got to invigilate and handle the admin. And please note, our fees do not cover that. That is a separate charge. And again, we do not accept any liability for any exam centre who decides to not work with us anymore. That's something you have to check with them from the get-go. So there is that. And the team, I'll mention us very briefly. That's me. I'm not going to go into detail about my CV. If you wish to pause it and have a read of me, please feel free. Same thing for Dr. Nigel Marshall. Again, I'm going to try and keep this presentation short. Pause and have a look if interested in reading up about any of us here. Anika Sabo, and that's us. So, having said that, what does the course include? Okay, so should we have discussed the payment first and what happens after payment and then got into that, but as it's here anyway. Right, so we offer 24/7 access to the portal, which you'll give and login in details for that, and I'll show you the portal later on in this video. There are digital interactives and quizzes which you can click through and follow through. We haven't got any examples of those because they vary from one week to the next. If I showed you one for 1 week and it might not be your kind of thing, it could be better for week 2 or week 3. So we don't think it's the best representative to show examples of our material, but we do offer a 14-day money back guarantee. So if you're not happy within a 14-day cooling off period, you can be given a refund, and that's provided, of course, you send the book back to the publisher and it arrives back in mint condition. All that has been said and done, you'll then receive your full refund based upon what you've paid. If the book doesn't arrive back in good condition, you'll get your refund less the cost of the book. So that's over and done with now. Downloadable worksheets we also offer for those who don't really like to go down the digital route, and we've got the new pre-recorded tutorials. Let me just quickly say about those. I know I've mentioned it again later in this presentation, but I'll say it now. Those are not for every single topic. We've included them for the more trickier content. So for those things where we feel a video will benefit, we've produced a video. So that's where you'll find there's a fair few of them in there, and where they're applicable, they're available for you to view. We do not offer live webinars because it just isn't financially viable for us. Email. Course and technical support. What's that all about? Okay, if you've got a problem, if nobody else can help, only you sorry, you'd have to come from the 1980s to understand that one. But see, on a serious note, we do offer email course support. So if you email your tutor, course advisor, any questions, they will get back to you. If you've emailed them and not heard back from in a couple of days, email me and I will shake the tree and you will hear from them. They're pretty good at getting back to people, although please note in the holiday time that they're not working for us full time. They do have holidays, so if they're away, as Nigel often is, sort of touring the Highlands of Scotland and climbing the mountains there, he could be gone for a couple of weeks and you won't get any reply. So please understand that. But if you're unsure, info@onlineastronomycourses.co.uk. I'm not fortunate enough to have too many holidays. The chances are if you email me, I will be around to answer. I may be in London seeing family from time to time, but I will pick up your email and I will reply. And if I can't solve your problem there and then, I would at least let you know that I'm aware of it and when I expect to be able to get onto your problem. And that comes down to technical support, doesn't it? I'm always doing that. Okay, technical support. Again, any issues, email me. Logging in problems, every login in details are tested before I send them out. But in case it's a problem, let me know. Um, I'm not one of these organizations that takes weeks and weeks to get back to support. If you email me a problem, I will reply to it that same day if I can, that same hour if I can. You know, I'm that pedantic. I do not let the sun set on a problem. If I can solve it that day, it gets solved and you get told. I do not let my customers sit on problems. You're paying for a service at the end of the day, and if it's not working for you as it should, then that needs to be fixed as soon as possible. And I am fundamental about that, and that is on me. The only thing I say again is if I'm away and I can't fix the problem, you'll at least be told I have it, I'm aware of it, and I will fix that by said date, and you'll be emailed about where we are and hopefully with the solution. Robotic telescope access, right? We do have access to the Liverpool telescope. Details for that are sent by the course advisor. Any further questions on that, do please let us know. Maths for GCSE Astronomy. Yeah, these are pre-recorded videos from previous webinars that we've run. And they are just that, webinars. They are just where we've talked about and gone through maths for GCSE Astronomy. We have had some people in on it, but they haven't wanted to be recorded. So we've just gone through the content and they've watched it. And what we've done is we've canned them and made them available. But as such, that means there are no worksheets to complement them and there are no activities after. It is just the videos to help you. But again, any questions, get in touch. Please get in touch. Webinars on exam technique and past paper questions. Again, these are our previous videos that we've made available to our learners at no extra charge. We do sometimes run these live, more about that in a minute. But with the pre-recorded videos, what we've done is these are from our webinars. We thought this is useful content. We don't want to be having upsells for our learners. Oh, you know, we're taking your money for the GCSE, but these are 50 quid extra. I don't want to run a program or package that way. I don't want upsells. Works for some companies and I hate it. When you pay me for something, you get it. No extras tied in that you're not aware of. So we bundle these in. The only difference is if we run the webinars live in any given year, for that it is extra, I'm afraid, because that's more time and effort for us to put them together and it helps us to run the program. And what does that mean if you're signed up to the course but not to the webinars? It means you don't get access to them for a couple of years. And if you sign up to the webinars to watch them live, it means you get access to those webinars plus the recorded material. If you've missed it, we do record them so you can watch them later, but you do not get access to previous years. That's the difference. I hope that makes sense. Textbook free copy. Well, I would say it's free, but you're paying for it. Once you sign up, that's sent to you, and there's a soft copy up there for those of you who are too eager to wait for that. Observational task sign off. Yeah, excuse me. We've got exclusive material on the observational tasks. We've got quite a lot of material on it, which goes through how they work, why they work that way, how to structure it, and giving you the information you need to do them. And we offer support on those. So if you send them to your course advisor, they'll review them. If there's anything extra that's needed, they will tell you. You complete that feedback and you act on that feedback and send it back. They will then send you the observational task sign off. You can take that to your exam centre and be able to sit your exams. You cannot sit the exam without the observational task sign off, and you could be tested on what you do there. Very important. Support with exam centres, I've kind of already gone into that. And new wellbeing material, I've kind of already gone into that, so I'm not going to repeat that here. Exam centres, I think I've already mentioned a lot of this. Course fees do not include exam or centre fees. I think I've said that. But pause this and have a read and then move on. I'm not going to go through this again. I want to keep the video short. And yeah, so I think I've said this, but I will do again. What it is, I've had to be recorded a couple of times for various reasons. But I'll say it anyway. This is very much a self-led course. So this isn't tutor-led in that anybody's going to be logging in or running any live sessions so people can follow through each week. It doesn't work that way. And quite frankly, our business model means that it wouldn't be sustainable for us to do it that way. It's very much a self-led course. And also, given that learners join at different times of the year, it's kind of hard to cater for everybody. This is why there's a course advisor where questions are taken via email. But again, please note they're not available to you one-to-one via phone call or Zoom. They're not paid enough for that. But you're welcome to engage them as a personal tutor. They're more than welcome to take you on, and we don't take any commission from that. So that's between you and them. I think I've kind of already gone through an awful lot of this, so I'm not going to be going through it again. But any questions, do please email us. And the packages, what do we offer them? So we said what we give, and this is what we want for it. So, generally speaking, we offer two ways of paying for this. If you want to sit in 1 year, that is now, for example, we are at June 2025. If you want to sit in June 2026, you could pay now and you can sit next June. Now, if you're unable to sit next year for whatever reason, because you've paid us for an entire 2 year course, you can have another year support to see you through. So either way, you're paying for a 2 year course. So that's the 2 year support. And how it works, for example, if you paid now, you are supported until the end of June of 2027. So let me just clarify here quickly, because I don't think I've mentioned it anywhere else. This is a roll-on, roll-off qualification course. So you can join at any time, but that year finishes at the end of June. So, for example, there's less than sort of 5-6 months before June now. So if you paid now, your support in the light of that will run to the following June, when your support will come to an end if you've only paid for 1 year. Which brings us on to the sitting in 2 years. So there are two payment options there. Year one, you pay £167.50, and that will see you for the entire year, and that support will end the following June, where the second payment of £167.50 will be eligible. Let me mention here too, because I don't think I've said it anywhere else, that if you pay £335, you get access to both years' materials, and we could sign off both of your observational tasks. Please note, if you've already got material, that will not happen in the first 14 days, because obviously you can cancel your enrollment with us, in which case if we've signed off your tasks and then you want your money back, that's not really fair on us. So nothing like that's going to happen until that 14 days has passed. And for year two, for the sitting in 2 years, we will sign off both tasks in year two, because only one form's needed for both observational tasks, or for 4 observational tasks. So we won't sign anything off in year one, we will in year two, if that makes sense. I think I've already said that, so I'm going to move on. And I think I've already said that, so I'm going to move on. Feel free to pause and have a quick read again yourselves. So what happens on sign up? I've kind of done this back to front, haven't I? But nevertheless, here we go. So once you pay, if you've not submitted any details, or we don't see any, you'll get an email from us asking for your details. We'll ask for your name, we'll ask for your address, we'll ask for an email to use to enroll, and we'll ask for your proposed exam centre and when you plan to sit. So once you've sent us that information, we'll use that to enroll you. Please note, we're only asking for information that we need, and after you are no longer with us, that information gets deleted, and then that gets sent, and then you'll get sent your joining instructions. So what you'll get then, let's say what you'll get in your email when you first join us, you'll receive a couple of documents. You'll receive your joining instructions, which contains your login in details and everything else you need to get started. A copy of your terms and conditions. Yuck, I know, but there has to be. And then there'll be a thing about observational tasks, which you're encouraged to read. And then there'll be the Pearson's and Dexel specification handbook to read, and plus a copy of our brochure, which may contain extra information you weren't aware of. And it's in that you'll be introduced to your course advisor, and you'll know who they are. And from that point on, he'll then introduce himself, and he'll send out the book and any other things. And there's even a free gift you get now. I'm not saying what it is, but there is a free gift. Right. I think I've already gone through an awful lot of this as well, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. But I'll leave it for you to refresh if you want. The webinars, I think I've mentioned these. I think I've gone into, but I will do again. We do tend to run these because we like to have content on past exam paper questions. But it's just a kind of a subscription-based thing that we offer. So it's optional to our learners to sign up for that. And that is the only upsell. If learners want that, then they'll have to pay extra for that. Beyond that, if you're an external student not studying with us, you can still sign up, but the price is the same across the board. Pre-recorded, I think we've already said that. So you're welcome to pause it and have a look. Remote observing. I think I've already mentioned this before. I might be getting confused with previous videos I've had to re-record, but we've taken delivery of a smart telescope here, and that's the CSARS S50 if you want to have a Google. And it's theoretically possible for us to share it remotely and let students take their observations with it. Now, for us to be able to do that compliantly, legally, in the eyes of Pearson's and Dexel, the student has to be able to control the telescope, which that will let you remotely. It's a bit hit and miss when it works or not. But if you're able to get it working, you can get it on the target, the moon or whatever, and you're able to collect data and you're able to email it back. And that's perfectly legal to use because you've controlled the telescope. So, but there'll be more on that. If you're interested in that service, then give me a shout. Obviously, it's dependent on two things: my availability and the weather, and of course, whether the celestial event you're taking place is available. But we can work on that if that's of interest, and that's independent of the Liverpool's telescope that we were talking about earlier. Right, this is an old slide based upon our webinars, but this could be valid again this year. We have to discuss that, but this is what we have done in the past and could come up again. Okay, but that's not all right. Okay, this is the GCSE Maths we've been building for some time. We are looking to offer that as an online course, and Eco's worked very hard to build it. We've got a fair few weeks though for year 2 to complete, so yeah, watch this space on that and on that. Again, my Bachelor of Science isn't in chemistry. My Bachelor of Science isn't in astronomy, it's in chemistry. I've already given it away now, and I've been using some of my knowledge to write a course, which again, like a Nico, I started it, but it's been kind of bumped back further and further as I've had other commitments. It isn't easy being a tutor and a managing director at the same time, as I'm sure you'll appreciate. So do watch this space. But if anybody's looking for one-to-one tuition on any of this, I'm available, and so's Nico. Any questions, do please email. I've tried my best to be as comprehensive as I can with this brochure. But if you've got any further questions, there is the email. Do please email and I'll be happy to respond. And that is all I have to say, I think. So hopefully that's explained a couple of things to you about who we are and what we offer. Yeah, I nearly forgot. Let me come out of that. When you do get your joining details, this is the website. And up here is the button you can click on to get to the Academy portal. So if you click on that, I mean, I'm already logged in, but otherwise you get a login in page here. So once you've logged in, this will be what you see. I mean, it's come up like that because I was already logged in. So these are the courses. I mean, your dashboard will look different, but here's the first year anyway. And what you get, this is a bit like what the classroom is. So we've got skills guidance. That's a flip book on observational skills if we go into that. We are producing more material of this format. So that's a flip book. You can go through there. And you can reach that on the tablet as well. So that's available. Nigel Marshall's done an overview video here. We've got interactives. We've got a video tutorial, which Nigel's done. This is one of the pre-recorded videos that we were talking about. And there's also interactives and quizzes available here too. And we've tried to do it in a way which we've also got video of the tropics. So this is kind of how it is. So if it's a video tutorial, it says it's a video tutorial. Interactive, which means it's a clickable. There's one here. No. And then you go through that. And it'll look bigger probably on your tablet, but that's essentially the kind of thing we're talking about there. And then you've got a quiz with audio support, and then your downloadable worksheets. All of them are of that format, and you go through the weeks, and some have got videos, some don't. And depending on what you're looking at, whether it's a file, an interactive or quiz, it will say, or a video. There's another video here that Nigel's done. I have to check that. That's obviously the link has been dropped. That will be fixed. But otherwise, yeah. That's a lot of how the course works. And there's another one of these as well for the year 2. And then you come down to the link to the second year and the link to GCSE past paper questions as well. So that's part of kind of the general format that we offer for our course here. And there's the flip book there that you can access. General study advice. And there's the study planner, progress tracker. You can download that. So yeah, this is pretty much a lot of what you get for the money. So all the material is uploaded here. And the good thing about this format is there's no physical lessons you've got to wait to attend. You can just log in whenever you've got some time, any hour of the day or night, any day of the week, and it's here. So that is what we have. And logging out is just clicking on here, clicking on logging out, and you are logged out. And that is the page conversely you meet when you want to log in. And you'll be asked to change your password first time round. And then after that, you can log in. And if you've forgotten your password, click on lost, enter in your username or email address, and give it a few minutes. And if it's not landed in your mailbox, check your spam and it should be there. But anyway, that is pretty much who we are, what we offer, what you get, and what we're about. So I hope that's been informative for you. We have been going on for about half an hour now, but there's been a fair bit of content, and hopefully look forward to welcoming you onto the course. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you.